Okay, so on textures on a complex shape. So let's say I have a shape that's um, sort of complex. Maybe it does something like this where it kind of like this. Okay, so like I was saying, the key to putting a texture on a complex shape is to have the texture look like it's on the surface. So in this case, this is the surface, right? It kind of comes across this way and comes down this way. So the texture I'll use is sort of a fish, like a scale, fish scale shape. So a few things. Let's say I do a contour here. One of the things that I do is I make sure that, and I'll do a close-up of this, like let's say this is the shape I want to do. That's the texture, right? But in this case, I have a line. If you take this and you blow it up right over here, and I have a line that does this, and I have a line that does this, right on here. So I want to make sure to get this scale, wherever it is, I'm calling it a fish scale. I'm going to have these lines kind of follow this line, right? So it looks like it's going right along that edge, and it's going to kind of do this, right? And then as I go, I'm going to follow this contour line. So the next one is going to be sort of like this, sort of like this. And as I go, it's going to go up, right? A little bit. And as I go this way, it's going to follow the contour line this way, right? You guys can see how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do that here. And then as I get towards the middle is going to be probably the most where I'm going to see this scale, right? Right in here, it's probably going to be the largest. And as I go, it's going to follow the contour line, but also as I get over here, it's going to go around the outside of the, let me see if I can get him a little closer. It's going to go around the outside, and then it's going to get really thin, right? I'm barely going to see any of it. And as it comes around this way, I'll see more and more and more and more, right? So you can kind of see that is kind of following the shape, right? I probably got a little bit too thin. Make sure it's wide enough. And as I come across this way, it's going to get widest here. I'm going to see the most of it. And then as it comes around this side, again, I'm going to follow that contour line, and I'm going to get thinner as I go, and maybe even see a little bit of the object kind of coming out of the silhouette of the shape, right? If I want to give it like a thickness. Okay, so again, the widest here in this length, and as I go around, it's going to get thinner and thinner in this direction, not in this direction, in the horizontal direction, right? So you can see I started getting probably a little too thin, so I'm going to kind of try to correct that. And then the same thing happens over here, right? I'm going to follow the contour line. So it goes that way, that way, that way. It's going to start following the contour line, and it's going to get thinner and thinner. I'm going to see more overlap, especially as I get around the edge. And then maybe a little bit like that. Okay? So it's not quite perfect. It probably wraps around here more, and this is probably a little too flat. I probably could have done this. Let's see if I draw a contour line. I'll do one more row, okay? So here's one, another one, another one, another one. Okay, so now here is about the time where it's going to start getting a little bit more kind of overlap each other a little bit more. You can see I brought it up so there's a little space there. And then it's going to do the same thing as I bring it over here. Okay, probably turn the page. And now they're going to overlap a little bit more, and then finally come around to the edge. Okay? So that's kind of how I keep things, keep the textures looking like they're on the surface of the object, okay? So stop recording.